In a world that constantly demands more from us, whether it's success, possessions, or control, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. We're taught to strive harder, hold on tighter, and never back down. But what if the key to a more peaceful, fulfilled life lies not in pushing forward, but in letting go? Stoicism, an ancient Greek philosophy, presents a surprising and powerful approach to this very idea. At its core, Stoicism teaches us how to find tranquility, not through external achievements, but by mastering our responses and embracing the things we cannot control. The practice of letting go is central to Stoic thought, yet it's often misunderstood. Letting go doesn't mean giving up or becoming passive. Rather, it's about releasing our attachment to things, expectations, and even the outcomes of our efforts. By focusing on what is within our control, our actions, thoughts, and reactions, we free ourselves from the constant strain of trying to manipulate the world around us. This shift in mindset can be transformative, offering a profound sense of peace and emotional resilience. The idea of letting go may seem counterintuitive, even shocking, in a culture that values relentless ambition. Yet, the Stoics argue that true power lies in the ability to release what burdens us: unrealistic expectations, the fear of failure, the need for validation, and the constant pursuit of external success. By embracing these practices, we not only live more harmoniously with ourselves, but also experience deeper, more meaningful relationships and an overall sense of well-being. What do you think about the idea of letting go? Have you tried Stoic practices in your own life? I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments. Let's discuss how embracing Stoicism can challenge our everyday beliefs and lead us to profound transformation. Truth 1. Letting go of control. Embracing what we can't change. In a world that constantly pushes us to take charge, dominate, and control our environments, the Stoic idea of letting go of control can seem like a radical departure from common wisdom. But it's precisely this shift in thinking that can spark a profound transformation in our lives. Stoicism teaches us that there are many things in life over which we have no influence, and the sooner we accept this truth, the sooner we can experience true freedom. The concept of control is deeply ingrained in the modern mindset. We've been conditioned to believe that we should always be striving to control outcomes, influence others, and shape our futures. We constantly push for more success, more possessions, more recognition, believing that achieving these things will bring us happiness and fulfillment. However, the Stoics remind us that while we may control our actions and reactions, there is a vast array of external factors that lie beyond our reach. The weather, other people's decisions, global events, and even our health can all be beyond our grasp, no matter how hard we try. Imagine how much energy we waste fighting against forces we cannot change. We try to control how others perceive us, force situations to unfold according to our plans, and struggle to bend the world to our will. The Stoics assert that this is not only exhausting, but also counterproductive. In fact, our attachment to control is often the very source of our stress and unhappiness. We become frustrated when things don't go our way, when life throws us a curveball, or when we encounter obstacles that seem beyond our control. In these moments, we are reminded of our powerlessness, which can leave us feeling helpless, anxious, and even defeated. But what if instead of fighting against these uncontrollable forces, we could simply let go of the need to control them? What if we embraced the reality that life will unfold as it will, and the only thing we can truly control is how we respond to it? This is the essence of Stoic wisdom. By letting go of our obsession with control, we open ourselves to a sense of peace that comes from accepting the natural flow of events. We can stop fighting against reality and start working with it. This shift in mindset is not about passivity, it's about empowerment. The Stoics encourage us to focus on the things that are within our control, our thoughts, our actions, and our attitudes. When we let go of the need to control everything around us, we create space for growth, resilience, and inner strength. We become more adaptable, more present, and more aligned with our true purpose. Instead of obsessing over what could go wrong, we focus on how we can approach each moment with wisdom, courage, and virtue. By practicing this principle, we become less reactive to external events and more proactive in shaping our internal world. When life presents us with challenges, we respond not with frustration or despair, but with a calm, rational mindset. We ask ourselves, what is within my control in this situation? And how can I respond in a way that aligns with my values? In doing so, we free ourselves from the emotional roller coaster that comes with trying to control everything. Letting go of control also frees us from the fear of failure. Often, our fear of failure stems from a desire to control outcomes. We are afraid that if we don't succeed, it will be a reflection of our worth or abilities. However, when we accept that we cannot control everything, we shift our focus from the outcome to the process itself. We focus on doing our best, regardless of the result, and we let go of the need for perfection. This mindset allows us to take risks, try new things, and learn from our mistakes without the crippling fear of failure holding us back. Ultimately, the power of letting go of control is not about resigning ourselves to passivity. It's about embracing the freedom that comes with accepting what is beyond our influence. The Stoic practice of focusing on what we can control, our actions, our thoughts, and our responses, gives us the power to navigate life with grace and resilience. Instead of constantly battling against the tide, we learn to sail with it. So, the next time you find yourself frustrated by something you can't control, take a step back and ask yourself, what can I control in this situation? Letting go of the need to control everything opens up new possibilities for growth, peace, and fulfillment. By embracing this Stoic truth, we free ourselves from the chains of external expectations and begin living a life that is truly our own. Truth number 2. Letting go of expectations, freedom from disappointment. In a world filled with promises, goals, and aspirations, it's easy to fall into the trap of expecting things to unfold exactly as we envision. We set our sights on specific outcomes, and when those outcomes don't materialize as expected, we feel disappointed, frustrated, and even defeated. But what if the secret to greater happiness and peace lies not in the pursuit of specific results, but in letting go of rigid expectations? This is where the wisdom of Stoicism offers a profound and transformative shift in perspective. Expectations are like invisible weights we place on ourselves, creating a sense of pressure to achieve certain outcomes. We expect people to treat us a certain way. We expect our efforts to yield immediate rewards, and we expect life to unfold smoothly according to our carefully laid plans. The problem with expectations is that they are inherently tied to outcomes, which are often beyond our control. When reality doesn't align with our expectations, we feel let down, sometimes deeply so. The Stoics encourage us to free ourselves from these expectations. They suggest that the root of our disappointment lies not in the world around us, but in the mental framework we build around what should happen. Instead of tying our happiness to specific outcomes, Stoicism teaches us to focus on the process, the actions we can control, the virtues we can practice, and the way we choose to respond to life's unpredictability. By letting go of rigid expectations, we can begin to experience life with a sense of openness and acceptance, unburdened by the weight of disappointment. One powerful Stoic practice that can help in letting go of expectations is called negative visualization. This technique involves imagining the worst-case scenario, what might happen if our expectations aren't met. By mentally preparing for the possibility that things may not go as planned, we allow ourselves to be more resilient in the face of disappointment. This may sound counterintuitive at first, but in reality, it creates a sense of freedom. When we accept the possibility of loss or failure beforehand, we can face whatever happens with a calm mind, rather than reacting with shock or despair when things don't go our way. Take, for example, the pursuit of a career goal. We may expect to get a promotion or a job offer, believing that this achievement will bring us happiness. But what if the promotion doesn't come, or the job offer is rescinded? If we've tied our happiness to the expectation of this outcome, we may feel crushed. However, if we let go of this expectation and instead focus on the effort and the lessons learned along the way, we can find peace and satisfaction even when things don't turn out as planned. The Stoic approach doesn't mean giving up on goals or abandoning ambition. Rather, it's about rethinking how we approach our goals. We can still set intentions and work toward achieving our desires, but we can do so without clinging to the idea that things must unfold in a particular way. The outcome becomes secondary to the way we engage with the journey, the process, and the challenges we face. Letting go of expectations also frees us from the tyranny of comparison. We often expect to measure our progress against others, leading to feelings of inadequacy or jealousy when we perceive others as more successful or fortunate. The Stoics remind us that our path is unique and that we should focus on our own growth, not the results that others achieve. When we stop comparing ourselves to others, we find the freedom to pursue our own values and aspirations without the burden of unrealistic expectations. In the end, letting go of expectations allows us to fully embrace the present moment. Rather than anxiously anticipating the future or dwelling on past disappointments, we can approach life with openness and acceptance. We become less fixated on specific outcomes and more attuned to the richness of the experience itself. This shift in focus leads to greater emotional resilience, as we no longer feel devastated when life doesn't go according to plan. Instead, we find peace in the knowledge that we can always choose how we respond to whatever life throws our way. So the next time you find yourself caught in a web of expectations, take a deep breath and remind yourself of the Stoic wisdom. Let go of the need to control outcomes and embrace the freedom that comes with accepting life as it is. By freeing yourself from rigid expectations, you open the door to a more peaceful, fulfilling existence, one that is not dictated by the whims of the world, but guided by your own inner strength and acceptance. Truth number 3. Letting go of attachments, cultivating emotional resilience. In the pursuit of happiness, it's easy to become attached to people, possessions, and outcomes. We form bonds with friends, family, and even material things, believing that these attachments are essential for our well-being. Yet the Stoics teach us a profound truth. True emotional resilience comes from letting go of our attachment to these external factors. While relationships and possessions can bring joy, it is the freedom from being overly attached to them that fosters lasting peace and inner strength. Think about it. How often do we tie our sense of self-worth or happiness to the people around us or the things we own? We may base our confidence on the approval of others or feel an overwhelming need to acquire more material goods, believing that they will somehow complete us. The Stoics argue that this dependence on external factors for our happiness leaves us vulnerable to emotional turmoil. When we lose something or someone we cherish, we can experience a deep sense of loss, sadness, or anxiety. Our sense of self, and sometimes our peace of mind, becomes fragile because it's tied to things outside of our control. But what if we didn't depend on external sources to define our emotional state? What if we could cultivate an inner peace that remains untouched by the ebbs and flows of life? Stoicism invites us to develop emotional resilience by letting go of unhealthy attachments. This doesn't mean abandoning love or care for people or things, but rather recognizing that our happiness should not be conditional on these things. True strength lies in being able to appreciate what we have without becoming dependent on it. The Stoics practice detachment, a key concept that doesn't imply emotional coldness, but rather a form of emotional maturity. Detachment allows us to engage with life fully, appreciating people and things while maintaining an inner sense of peace that isn't easily disturbed by changes in our external world. This emotional independence doesn't mean we stop caring. It means we stop relying on the world around us to dictate how we feel. Consider the example of a person who is deeply attached to their career. They define their self-worth entirely through their professional success, and when things don't go as planned, such as a job loss or a missed promotion, they are devastated. The Stoic approach teaches that while the loss may be difficult, it should not define us. Our value is not tied to a title, a paycheck, or external recognition. Instead, it's grounded in our character, our virtues, and the way we handle adversity. This shift in mindset offers a profound sense of liberation. When we let go of attachments, we free ourselves from the fear of losing what we hold dear. We can love deeply without the fear of abandonment, appreciate material things without the constant desire for more, and pursue goals without feeling that our worth is tied to the outcome. This doesn't mean we become indifferent to others or withdraw from life. Rather, we engage with the world with the understanding that everything is temporary, and the only true source of happiness lies within. Furthermore, letting go of attachments enhances our ability to navigate difficult emotions. When we face challenges or losses, we are not overwhelmed by the emotional turbulence that often accompanies these events. We become better equipped to handle grief, disappointment, and frustration with composure and grace. This resilience allows us to bounce back faster and continue our journey without being consumed by the pain of loss. In relationships, the practice of detachment can lead to healthier connections. Instead of seeking validation or trying to control others, we can love and support those around us without clinging to the need for their approval. This approach fosters mutual respect and reduces the fear of rejection, allowing us to build stronger, more authentic bonds. Ultimately, letting go of attachments doesn't mean abandoning love or abandoning responsibility. It means finding peace within ourselves, regardless of external circumstances. By learning to detach from outcomes, possessions, and even people, we develop a deeper understanding of who we are and what truly matters. This inner peace is unshakable, grounded in the Stoic principle that our happiness is a result of how we respond to life, not what life gives us. So the next time you feel overwhelmed by a loss, a desire for more, or an unhealthy attachment, remember the Stoic wisdom. True emotional resilience is found not in clinging to what we cannot control, but in releasing our dependence on it. When we let go of attachments, we make room for a deeper, more lasting peace, a peace that remains steady regardless of life's inevitable changes. Truth number 4, letting go of self-judgment, accepting imperfection. In a world obsessed with perfection, self-criticism often becomes second nature. We are constantly bombarded by images of idealized beauty, success, and behavior, leading us to believe that we must always be at our best, flawless in every aspect of our lives. But what if the key to true happiness and personal growth lies not in striving for perfection, but in letting go of the need to constantly judge ourselves? Stoicism offers a liberating approach, embracing our imperfections and accepting ourselves as we are. The Stoic philosophy emphasizes that we are all fallible beings, prone to mistakes and flaws. Instead of being consumed by self-judgment or guilt over our imperfections, the Stoics teach us to focus on what is within our control, our actions, our mindset, and how we choose to respond to the world around us. By letting go of the unrealistic standard of perfection, we free ourselves from the paralyzing grip of self-criticism and open the door to genuine self-acceptance. Consider how many times we fall short of our own expectations, whether in our careers, relationships, or personal growth, and instantly berate ourselves for not being good enough. This constant self-judgment creates a toxic cycle of negative thoughts that undermine our self-esteem and hinder our ability to move forward. The Stoics, however, invite us to embrace our humanity, acknowledging that we will make mistakes, experience setbacks, and face challenges. The key is not to be discouraged by our imperfections, but to learn from them and grow stronger. By letting go of self-judgment, we begin to shift our perspective. Instead of focusing on our flaws and failures, we begin to see them as opportunities for growth and learning. Stoicism teaches that it is not our mistakes that define us, but our ability to respond to them with wisdom and grace. When we stop holding ourselves to an unattainable standard of perfection, we give ourselves the freedom to learn, adapt, and improve without the crushing weight of self-criticism. This mindset shift also promotes a greater sense of self-compassion. Rather than harshly criticizing ourselves for every misstep, we begin to treat ourselves with kindness and understanding. We recognize that we are doing our best with the knowledge and resources available to us at any given moment. This self-compassion is essential for maintaining mental and emotional well-being, as it allows us to accept our imperfections without letting them define our worth. One powerful Stoic practice that can help in letting go of self-judgment is self-reflection. Instead of viewing our mistakes as failures, we can reflect on them with a sense of curiosity and objectivity. What can we learn from this experience? How can we grow and improve moving forward? By approaching our flaws with a mindset of learning rather than condemnation, we transform them into stepping stones toward personal growth. Moreover, letting go of self-judgment encourages us to be more forgiving of others. We are often much harder on ourselves than we are on others, yet the Stoics remind us that all human beings are imperfect. When we release the tendency to judge ourselves so harshly, we begin to extend that same grace and understanding to those around us. This fosters more compassionate and supportive relationships, as we recognize that everyone is on their own journey, facing their own struggles and imperfections. The Stoic approach to self-acceptance also involves a focus on virtue rather than external achievements. Rather than measuring our worth based on how we compare to others or how successful we appear, we shift our focus to the qualities that truly define us: our integrity, kindness, wisdom, and resilience. By cultivating these virtues, we create a sense of self-worth that is not dependent on external validation or achievements, but on the depth of our character. Ultimately, letting go of self-judgment allows us to live more authentically and with greater peace. We stop hiding behind a mask of perfection and instead embrace our true selves, flaws and all. This acceptance frees us from the constant pressure to meet impossible standards and opens the door to a more fulfilling and meaningful life. We begin to approach each day with a sense of curiosity and self-compassion, knowing that we are enough just as we are, and that every challenge is an opportunity for growth. So, the next time you find yourself caught in a cycle of self-criticism, remember the Stoic wisdom. Perfection is not the goal. Acceptance and growth are. By letting go of self-judgment, you free yourself from the weight of unrealistic expectations and create space for a deeper, more compassionate relationship with yourself. It is through this acceptance of imperfection that we truly find peace, strength, and the freedom to live our best lives. Truth number 5. Letting go of fear. Embracing courageous action. Fear is a powerful force that can hold us back from pursuing our dreams, facing challenges, and living life to its fullest. Whether it's the fear of failure, rejection, or the unknown, fear often keeps us trapped in a cycle of hesitation, self-doubt, and inaction. Yet, Stoicism offers us a profound truth. The antidote to fear is not to avoid it, but to let go of its control over us. Through the Stoic lens, fear becomes an invitation to embrace courage and act in alignment with our values, no matter the obstacles we face. At its core, fear arises from our attachment to outcomes, whether we succeed or fail, whether we are accepted or rejected, or whether we gain approval or experience judgment. The Stoics recognize that while fear is a natural part of the human experience, it should not dictate our actions or prevent us from pursuing what matters most. Instead of running from fear, Stoicism teaches us to confront it head-on and take deliberate action, regardless of the uncertainty that surrounds us. Imagine a situation where you're faced with an opportunity, whether it's a career change, an important conversation, or a personal goal, but fear holds you back. You might be afraid of failure or what others might think, causing you to procrastinate or avoid taking the necessary steps. The Stoic response is to remind ourselves that fear is merely a mental construct, often based on exaggerated worst-case scenarios. By recognizing this, we can reframe fear as an opportunity for growth and a reminder to act with courage rather than being paralyzed by uncertainty. The Stoics believed that courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act in spite of it. It is the willingness to take measured steps forward, even when the outcome is unknown or the path is difficult. Fear can be a signal that we are stepping outside of our comfort zone, challenging ourselves, and growing. Rather than being something to avoid, fear becomes a signpost that we are on the right track toward personal development and meaningful action. One powerful Stoic practice that helps in letting go of fear is visualizing the worst-case scenario. This technique, known as negative visualization, involves imagining what the worst possible outcome might be and then asking ourselves, "Can I handle this?" In doing so, we prepare ourselves mentally for potential challenges, making them less daunting when they actually occur. Once we accept the worst-case scenario and realize we can survive it, the fear that once felt overwhelming becomes much easier to face. This practice doesn't make us immune to fear, but it helps us respond with greater clarity, calm, and resolve. Letting go of fear also requires a shift in perspective. Rather than focusing on the potential consequences of our actions, we can choose to focus on the values that drive us. What is more important to us, avoiding discomfort and staying in our comfort zones, or living in alignment with our principles, even when it feels difficult? When we act in accordance with our values, fear becomes less of a barrier and more of a stepping stone toward living a life of purpose and integrity. Fear often arises from the illusion that we have complete control over every aspect of our lives. But the Stoics remind us that we can control our responses, our effort, and our intentions, but we cannot control everything that happens to us. By letting go of the need to control every outcome, we free ourselves from the paralyzing grip of fear. We no longer feel the need to have everything figured out or to be certain of success before taking action. Instead, we embrace the uncertainty of life and take bold steps forward with the understanding that courage is about moving forward, not knowing what lies ahead. By practicing this Stoic approach to fear, we begin to experience a profound shift in how we approach challenges. We realize that fear is not a signal to retreat, but a call to action. Each moment of fear becomes an opportunity to grow stronger, more resilient, and more in tune with our true selves. The more we let go of fear and take courageous action, the more we build our emotional strength and develop the resilience to face life's inevitable uncertainties with confidence. So, the next time fear threatens to hold you back, remember the Stoic wisdom. Fear is a natural part of life, but it does not have to control you. Let go of the illusion that you need to be free of fear to act, and instead, focus on embracing courageous action in the face of uncertainty. By letting go of fear, you open the door to boundless possibilities, growth, and a life that is lived boldly and authentically. Truth number 6. Letting go of control. Embracing the flow of life. In our fast-paced, goal-driven world, the desire to control everything around us is almost instinctual. We strive to plan every detail of our lives, manage our relationships, and steer our circumstances in a direction that feels safe and predictable. But what if the secret to a more fulfilling life isn't in the pursuit of total control, but in letting go of it entirely? This is where Stoicism offers a powerful lesson. True peace and freedom come from embracing life's flow, accepting what we cannot control, and focusing on what we can influence: our thoughts, attitudes, and actions. One of the most liberating ideas from Stoic philosophy is the recognition that much of life is beyond our control. We cannot control the actions of others, the randomness of fate, or the larger events that shape the world around us. However, what we can control is how we respond to these external circumstances. The Stoics urge us to focus on what is within our power, our own reactions, our mindset, and our commitment to acting with virtue. Consider a situation where everything seems to be going wrong. A job opportunity falls through, an argument with a loved one escalates, or unexpected circumstances derail your plans. It's easy to become frustrated, angry, or disillusioned when life refuses to follow the script we've written for it. However, the Stoic response would be to remind us that we cannot control these external events, but we can choose how we react to them. Rather than wasting energy trying to control things outside our power, we are encouraged to focus on maintaining calm and composure, accepting what we cannot change, and adapting to the situation with grace. By letting go of the need to control every aspect of life, we free ourselves from the constant stress and anxiety that comes with trying to manage the uncontrollable. We stop feeling as though we are at the mercy of external forces and instead take ownership of our own responses. The Stoics believed that peace comes from accepting life as it is, not as we wish it to be. This acceptance doesn't mean passivity, it means finding strength in letting go and trusting that we can navigate life's uncertainties with wisdom and resilience. This practice of letting go of control also ties into the Stoic concept of the dichotomy of control, the idea that there are things we can control, our thoughts, actions, and emotions, and things we cannot, the actions of others, the future, external events. By clearly distinguishing between these two, we avoid unnecessary stress and focus our energy on what truly matters. Rather than fixating on trying to control outcomes, we can direct our attention to the process, the effort we put in, the virtues we cultivate, and the way we conduct ourselves in the face of challenges. In relationships, letting go of control means accepting others as they are, rather than trying to change them to fit our expectations. We can only control how we show up in our interactions, how we respond with empathy, and how we contribute to the dynamics of the relationship. By relinquishing the need to control others, we foster healthier, more authentic connections built on mutual respect and understanding. In a practical sense, letting go of control means embracing uncertainty. Life is unpredictable, and no amount of planning or effort can change that. Yet, by letting go of the need for certainty and control, we open ourselves up to new opportunities and experiences that we might have otherwise avoided due to fear or rigidity. We learn to navigate the flow of life with an open heart and a flexible mind, adapting to the twists and turns along the way. Ultimately, letting go of control brings us closer to a sense of inner peace. We no longer feel like we are constantly fighting against the current, but instead, we learn to swim with it. We realize that true freedom is not in trying to control every outcome, but in trusting ourselves to respond with wisdom and resilience to whatever comes our way. So the next time you find yourself gripped by the urge to control every aspect of your life, take a step back and remember the Stoic wisdom. You cannot control everything, but you can control how you respond. By letting go of the need for control, you embrace the flow of life, finding peace in the process and strength in the uncertainty. This shift in mindset not only reduces stress, but opens the door to a more fulfilling, flexible, and resilient way of living. Truth number 7, letting go of the past, living fully in the present. How often do we find ourselves trapped in the past, replaying old mistakes, reliving past hurts, or wishing we could turn back time? Whether it's regrets about a missed opportunity, guilt over a past decision, or nostalgia for better times, the past can weigh heavily on our minds and hearts. Yet, Stoicism offers a profound and liberating truth. To live a fulfilling life, we must let go of the past and embrace the present moment. Only by releasing our attachment to what has already happened can we fully engage with life as it is now. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus famously said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." This powerful statement speaks directly to our relationship with the past. While we cannot change what has already occurred, we do have the power to decide how we carry those experiences into the present. The Stoics teach that clinging to past events, whether they are moments of triumph or failure, only robs us of the opportunity to live fully in the now. The more we ruminate on what has been, the less we are able to experience what is. Living in the past often manifests as an obsession with what could have been. We constantly replay old conversations, wishing we'd said something differently, or we obsess over decisions that didn't turn out the way we hoped. This mental energy spent on events that cannot be altered only leads to frustration and regret. Stoicism encourages us to redirect our attention from the past to the present moment, because that's where life truly happens. The Stoics remind us that time is fleeting, and the only moment we can truly control is the one we're living right now. By letting go of the past, we open ourselves up to the richness of the present, where we have the power to act, learn, and grow. The process of letting go of the past doesn't mean forgetting or disregarding our history. It means accepting it as part of our journey without letting it define us or dictate our future. The Stoics teach that we should view the past with equanimity, acknowledging it for what it was, without attaching unnecessary emotion or judgment to it. We are not our past mistakes or our past successes. We are who we choose to be in this moment. One of the most freeing aspects of Stoicism is its emphasis on forgiveness. Not just forgiving others, but forgiving ourselves. We all make mistakes, experience setbacks, and face regrets. Holding on to guilt or shame over past actions only serves to keep us trapped in a cycle of self-punishment. Instead, Stoicism urges us to recognize our imperfections and embrace the idea that we can grow from our experiences. We learn, we adapt, and we move forward. By forgiving ourselves, we release the emotional burden of the past and make space for healing, growth, and positive action. Moreover, letting go of the past allows us to shift our focus from what has already been done to what can still be accomplished. The future is always uncertain, but the present moment is where we can make a real impact. By letting go of past mistakes or regrets, we free ourselves to take action toward the things that truly matter to us. Every moment is an opportunity to choose a different path, to make a change, or to pursue a new goal. Living in the present requires a mindset shift, one that the Stoics advocate wholeheartedly. Instead of wishing for things to have been different, we can accept what is and focus on what we can do right now. In doing so, we cultivate a sense of inner peace and fulfillment, knowing that we are not bound by the weight of the past. We are free to shape our present and future based on the actions we take today, not on the things we cannot change. The Stoic practice of mindfulness encourages us to pay attention to the present moment and fully engage with it, rather than allowing our minds to drift back to past events. When we let go of the past, we become more attuned to the beauty and opportunities that exist right now. We learn to cherish the present for what it is, not for what it could have been. In the end, letting go of the past is about choosing to live authentically and intentionally. It's about shedding the weight of old wounds, regrets, and attachments, and embracing the freedom to live fully in the moment. As the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When we free ourselves from the past, we gain the strength to live each moment with purpose, clarity, and joy. So, let go of the past and allow the present to be the most important and powerful moment of your life. Conclusion: the transformative power of letting go. In a world filled with pressure to control every aspect of our lives, the wisdom of Stoicism offers a refreshing and transformative approach: the power of letting go. As we've explored, letting go is not about surrendering or becoming passive, but about releasing the grip of unnecessary burdens that limit our potential and happiness. Whether it's letting go of self-judgment, fear, the need for control, or attachment to the past, each truth that Stoicism presents offers us the opportunity to live with greater freedom, resilience, and peace. By embracing the Stoic philosophy, we learn to accept what we cannot change and focus on what we can control: our thoughts, our actions, and our responses to life's challenges. This mindset frees us from the constant cycle of striving for perfection, fearing failure, or holding on to regrets, and allows us to embrace life as it is, with all its uncertainties and imperfections. When we let go of these limiting beliefs and attachments, we create space for personal growth, authentic connections, and a deeper sense of fulfillment. The journey of letting go is not an overnight process, but a lifelong practice. It requires conscious effort, self-compassion, and a willingness to release the past and live in the present moment. As you embrace these Stoic truths, remember that the power to transform your life lies within you. Letting go isn't about losing something, it's about gaining freedom, clarity, and the ability to live with purpose. So, take a moment to reflect. What is holding you back? What can you let go of today? By releasing these attachments, you step into a life of greater peace, strength, and joy. Letting go is not just a practice. It's a way of living that allows us to become the best versions of ourselves, aligned with our values and fully present in the world around us.